We're going to get started. We don't have a form so far, but maybe by the time we get into our meeting where we really need a form, the other person will be here. We'll be like one person. We're going to have a minute of silent prayer or reflection. However you serve, you serve. Roll call to, we know we don't have a form, but we're going to recognize board members who are here. Lily Griffin from Cannon Village, that's me. Emma James from Summit Village, come her from, she's not here. Bernadette White from Pine View Court. She's not here. She has some duties that she was doing for her church, but she was going to send a proxy. Is anybody really feeling for Bernadette? I am. You are?
Well, then you have a quorum.
Right. But Bernice Green from Western House, she's not here yet. Mildred Burgess from Fort Lincoln Apartments, here. Queen Brown from Vicksburg Apartments, present. J.D. Peterson from Dakota Crossing, present. Hattie Pierce from Hillside 2 Condo, here. Johnny Martin from Mapleview Condo, he's not here. Haven't heard from him. I heard from him last night. He told me he would be here tonight. So far he hasn't come, maybe just late. Lydell Smith from Gettysburg Apartment, he's not here yet. And Tallulah Gilliam from Petersburg Apartment. The next on the agenda is the approval of minutes, so we don't have a quorum, but I guess we can
You do have a quorum.
Huh?
You do have a quorum.
Okay. So I'm going to give an overview of the agenda, and then we'll come back and do the voting and so forth. We'll have approval of the minutes for June 2020. 13 board meeting for June the 20th. Nomination and confirmation of Fort Lincoln board member, that's by the chair, nominated Chair Laura Pearson. And we have nomination and confirmation of Fort Lincoln Civic Association officers by Laura Pearson. And we have appointment and confirmation for the board committee chairs, and that's by Lily Griffin. Then we're going to gather outside for a photo taking of the board. Then we have the discussion, vote on Fort Lincoln Civic Association Symposium, October 2013 through May 2014. That's by Lily Griffin. Discussion and vote on September 2013 to May 2014 budget. Lily Griffin. Panel discussion, the status of plan for the release of the fall and third of Marshall Elementary School. That's not years. Then we have new business and announcement, including the ANC 5 report and 50 crime report. I don't see any of them here yet, so maybe when we get down to that, they'll be here. So you all hold your comments and questions until we get to new business and announcement.
The minutes are on page 3 of the meeting packet that you have. It's basically a summary of the business that took place on 20 June. As you can see, we have the members who were present, the members who were absent. We reviewed the minutes of the previous minutes. Held some elections by acclamation as well as filling some board vacancies. We stood for a photograph and then talked about when the following meeting would take place, as well as what location they would take place. We entertained new business regarding the communications committee chairman, as well as some other committees, including the emergency management, public health affairs, and discussed the ANC as far as how we would be getting information from the ANC and who would be taking care of that, as well as some other committee chairpersons. Officer Chester presented a crime report from District 5, District 503, and then we discussed thank you letters from the home tour. If there are any questions, comments, edits, or changes, I'd like to submit these as the official minutes for the 20 June.
I'd like to put the motion that the minutes stand as read.
Do anyone see any corrections in the minutes?
I've spoken with Jaden about some corrections.
Those are in there.
Yeah, but they're subject to corrections.
What was the correction?
Summary of the correction was regarding the home tour thank you letters. The initial draft stated that Mr. Pearson would be completing and sending out thank you letters to all of those who supported the Lincoln Civic Association home tour. The correction was that he would only be sending letters to those who advertised support the home tour. The others that supported, it was left to the board to determine how and who would send out those thank you letters.
So I sent out some receipts and a thank you note to the supporters, which was Fort Lincoln Funeral Home, Fort Lincoln Pharmacy and Equipment, Lutheran Baptist Church, and our ANC person came. So if there's not any correction, I have a motion for the minutes to be received and adopted.
With the formal correction made, I'll make a motion that the minutes stand as read.
Second motion.
It's been moved and seconded that the minutes to be received and approved as read with the correction. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Next is the nomination and confirmation of the board members by Mr. Pearson.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. And there are two nominees for positions on the Fort Lincoln Civic Association Board of Directors, one representing Washington Overlook Apartments and the other the Villages at Dakota Crossing condominiums and townhomes. And so that the board might have an opportunity to have an exchange with the nominees. Ask first that Maya Wallace Cypress come up. Are you in a position to, you want to go second? Everybody? Would you rather go second? Oh. Then I'll call up Latanya Cannon. Latasha Cannon, I'm sorry. The nominee to represent the village at Dakota Crossing asks, could you take one of the seats up here, please? And board members have a copy of Ms. Cannon's resume. It's in your board packet. If you don't, then this packet here should did you make enough copies for?
Thought I did. I don't see that.
Does anyone not have a copy?
I don't have it. Is it here? No, Natasha can't see it. It's not.
Did anyone be able to find it in their packet?
Ms. Cannon?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You have a different packet from that than the one they have, though.
I got my cell phone.
It was sent, it did not file.
Well, we're going to go over her background in any event, so she'll just do it orally, what's relevant to her nomination today. But in any event, the two basic requirements to represent a housing cluster in Fort Lincoln are, one, that you be a resident or owner of property in that housing cluster, and secondly, that you, there's no reason to believe that you do not support the goals of the Fort Lincoln Civic Association. The overriding goal of the Fort Lincoln Civic Association is to implement the charter behind the whole development of Fort Lincoln that began with President Johnson back in the late 1960s and has extended through today. That history is recounted on our website, and everyone in Fort Lincoln is considered to support that unless they indicate to the contrary. So those are the two basic requirements to represent your housing cluster on the Fort Lincoln Board of Directors. The other criteria that have been developed over time is, one, a person who is fairly outgoing, who will take the time to meet their neighbors and so get to accurately represent their interests. This summer, as part of that process, we had an email collection drive that we undertook at each one of the housing clusters. We tried to collect as many email addresses so that both the person who represented them and the board itself would be able to communicate with residents of each housing cluster. And we expect that the person who represents the housing cluster will, there's no off switch. So all you can do is hold it and pacify it. Holding it apparently pacifies it. Does anyone can't hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's the expectation, that you be a person who would go outside of yourself to meet your neighbors and to communicate with them through email, email or Yahoo groups. Some of the housing clusters have Yahoo groups that are set up. So with that, I'm going to ask Ms. Cannon to introduce herself to the board and explain why she was willing to volunteer her time to represent her housing cluster, and then we'll give the board members an opportunity to ask any questions, make any comments that they have. Ms. Cannon.
Good evening, my name is Natasha Cannon. I am new.
The mic will not reach that far.
I'm fine. Good evening, my name is Natasha Cannon, and I am a new owner to the Public Crossing. And the reason I've decided that I would like to be a part of the board is because there are some changes that I would like to see and within the community, and also I would like to get to know my neighbors. I would like to be a part of what's going on in my community. I'm a first-time home buyer, and living in an apartment, I did not make myself available, but this is something new to me as a homeowner, so now I would like to make myself available. To my neighbors, to the association, and just all around. Oh, I am a 7th grade special education teacher at Columbia Heights Educational Campus. I've been in DC Public Schools for 5 years. I've been a special education teacher for 10 years. And I volunteer a lot at my school. At my school, I'm the leader for the middle school student government. I volunteer mentoring. I I'm just an all-around outgoing person, trying to make good use of my time.
Congratulations on being a homeowner. That's good deal. You say you need to go crossing?
Yes.
The village is at
Villages
the
is
coast.
the Dakota Crossing. Yes.
So, there's plenty of work to be done. I mean, you can, pick what committee you would like to work on.
Okay.
And then, you can chair a committee, or you can be a member, or whatever, that you want to do. So, sound like you are a person that like to be involved.
Yes.
And involved in the community. See what's going on and help what's going on, and also bring to the community what we're at.
Right.
So, how long do you think you'll be with us?
Hopefully, as long as I'm living here.
So we had some people that come to one meeting and they were gone.
Oh, wow.
And so sound like you're a person that is stay with us for a while.
Right, yes, I am going to try my best. I am also new to parenting. I'm a guardian of a 10-year-old. She's been living with me for like 2 months, so I'm trying to make use of time, making sure I'm here on time, but she's in after school activities, so, I'm gonna make sure I do my best.
So, any other board members have some questions for Ms. Campbell?
I'm glad to get somebody. You know, so we get very glad to see that you're willing to join us and work.
Ms. Cannon, what are some of the changes you see we need to do in this community?
Number one, something the busing, I want to learn a little more about how they're zoning the buses, where they're going to put it, maybe a stoplight in front of, Dakota Crossing, across from, Costco. Because me living there, I see people running that stop sign all the time. People run the stop sign, or they're not stopping all the way, not doing four-way stopping. And also, we have a lot of pets in our community. I would love to see a dog park over there, somewhere within there. And maybe just doing things like block parties to get to know your neighbors. Maybe after find out how many kids are, now that I am a guardian, find out kids that are living in the neighborhood, and something to do with the kids, maybe having a homework after school hour on Saturdays, or something like that. Just something to involve everybody. Because a lot of people, like I've gotten to know my neighbors because of their dogs. Although I don't have a dog, I can tell you who's Bandit father is. I can say Bandit is the dog. So, and they're always walking their dogs, and there's nowhere for them to play. So just like kids, we have the center here, but there's nowhere for them. But the biggest thing for me is the stoplight and where they're going to put the bus, where the bus will stop. Because that's something important too. We just don't want it stopping anywhere, somewhere useful for everybody.
So you think it's traffic come through there to require that?
Yes. Like we walk, most of the time, Dream and I, we walk around. I just had knee surgery, so I'm not doing as much walking as I used to, but we walk around the block, we cross the street. In the morning time, people are running that light in the morning, coming from, everybody cuts through off of 50 and they cut around this corner. People are running that stop sign constantly. Maybe not necessarily going towards Costco's, but coming off the main highway. They're running that stop sign all the time. I'm just waiting for somebody to get hurt. Hopefully they don't. But they're running the stop sign all the time, and there needs to be something there.
Any more questions?
Well, we just
Ms. Cannon, one thing I didn't bring out was what's your background in terms of where you grew up, whether you had any exposure to Ward 5 or Fort Lincoln before now?
I'm from Michigan. I moved here in 2002. I went to Howard University. My undergrad was speech language pathology, and then I went on to education. I've been living here since July 1999. Yes, July 1999. I lived overseas in South Korea. I taught English in Korea for a year. And after Korea, I lived in Woodbridge. Before Korea, I lived in Maryland. I've lived in Mount Rainier. That was my first apartment in Mount Rainier, Maryland. And I've lived around because I wanted to find my home. Like, Michigan is no longer my home anymore, so I wanted to figure out, do I want to live in Virginia? Do I want to live in Maryland? Do I want to live in D.C.? So I found Mount Rainier, and then I moved to Washington Overlook. And my address is actually still the same street name. I lived on Commodore Joshua Barney Drive, and now my house is on Commodore Joshua Barney Drive.
Oh, wow.
So I thought I would get rid of that long name, but because I guess it's meant to be. And I lived in Washington Overlook for 3 years, and I just moved here in February. Just moved in February, so I've lived all over. Like I said, I'm from Michigan. I lived in Korea. I lived in Maryland, Virginia, and I've made DC my home.
And the 3 years you were at Washington Overlook was right before you moved to your present
Yes.
home?
I went right from Washington Overlook into the house.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? So welcome to the board. Well, thank you.
And you can take a seat up anywhere along there if you wish.